Florida State's picking up some momentum. We're going to be watching one of the commits that they added to their 26 class yesterday, Tico Crittendon right now. We might watch Lavalley in the future, so make sure y'all subscribe and turn on your notifications because that's a kid I like. We just haven't watched him on the channel yet. But today's about Tico Crittendon, 2026 defensive lineman, 6'4", 300 from Lithonia, Georgia. I'm going to try to hold my thoughts until towards the end of the video, but in the meantime, you guys let me know what you think about this kid. If there's anybody else in the 2026 class you want me to watch, even if you want me to start filling out my 27 board, I won't watch them on the channel right now, but definitely have a spreadsheet of names that we're going to start talking about as we get their junior year film up, but just let me know. I think there's a lot to like with this kid. When I see a kid listed as at defensive line, in the first play, I'm trying to, in my head, make up, is this kid going to be an edge rusher or a defensive tackle? I don't think there's going to be any argument about this kid playing on the inside of the defensive line. At his build, 6'3.5", 300, and way he plays also, I just don't really see him as an edge rusher. But that being said, I think he's very explosive, which is a lot of fun to get from a defensive tackle. A lot of these kids you won't really see great first step in high school, and those that you do are guys that you end up talking about in the NFL, especially in the first round in 3-4 years. But this kid, for how big he is and how quick his first step is, there's a lot of mass moving in the backfield. Now, I also think he's very strong, and you'll see him hold up against the run a lot. One thing I'll tell you is I don't think he plays with a low pad level right now, and I think that's more of a coaching thing rather than some kind of flaw with his build. I just think you'll see a lot of reps where he's just standing straight up and kind of loses leverage, and he's able to still win in high school because he's a lot stronger than the other kids and a lot bigger than the other kids. But obviously in the ACC that won't fly, and I think if he cleans that up where he's able to just, they do those shoot drills all the time where you're just practicing coming low out of your stance. I think there's a lot of times where he times a snap not well, and he's still getting the first step still looks great. So I think you're talking about one of the more explosive defensive tackles in the class. And usually when you're talking about a kid like that, you usually see him at 280. But for this kid's first step to be what it is at 300, and we take some of these high school reported weights with a grain of salt sometimes because they have incentive to lie about it, but this kid legit looks 300, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's a bit closer to 310, 320. But he's an athletic 300. Any other Things that I don't love. He might be a bit stiff, but at defensive tackle, like we're not talking about him at edge rusher. I don't think that's necessarily a fatal flaw. You could probably say that about every defensive tackle in the country. But very excited to see what this kid turns into as he puts on even more muscle and cleans up the finer points of football. Obviously, new defensive staff in Tallahassee. Terrence Knighton, one of the better defensive lineman coaches in the country from what I hear. Certainly excited to see what this kid turns into. Let the tape run a little bit more, but I think we have a good idea of what this kid is. And to be honest, the point I was making about the high pad level is not something that's showing up on every play here. So honestly, it's more of a consistency thing than I mean, it is still a coaching thing, but maybe I was hasty and just judged off of one or two plays, but certainly there's definitely some plays where it's not an issue, where it looks like he's coming out real low. And you can see he's just dominant. When he does that in high school, he's just going to dominate because he's already stronger than everyone. So if he's got the leverage advantage over high school offensive linemen, he's going to be in the backfield the whole fucking game. Like, as the plays, as the tape's going on, it's almost like he's literally got coached throughout the year and already got better at it. So, I'm trying to ask myself, why is this kid only a 3-star in 24/7's thing? And I'm kind of coming up blank. I don't really know. Here's one. This will be the last play that we watch. So I think the last 3 or 4 plays, you saw a good job of him coming out of his stance real low and having the leverage advantage. Like I said, he's going to be stronger and bigger than 90% of offensive linemen he faces in high school. So it's not that big of a deal, but I think this is one where you kind of see him. He's certainly bigger than this kid. He's definitely stronger than this kid. So why is there no real force? Why is this kid able to walk him back? Well, kid's a bit shorter, so he's a bit lower, and our guy just stood straight up. He still makes the play, but this play could have been made in the backfield. Now, is that something to take a kid off of your board? Fuck no. That's something that gets me excited because he's still raw. I mean, these kids are high. And then he came out low on them. All right. Just to highlight the points I was making again. Really like this kid's first step, really explosive, really strong also. So I really think if you tell me a defensive tackle is strong and he's got a good first step and he's 6'4", 300, like automatically it's a take. Honestly, even if he's just one or the other at 6'4", I guess if he's whatever, definitely a take for me. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about this kid. If I missed the mark, if I underrated something, if I overrated something, or if I was even 100% right. I'd appreciate you guys letting me know your opinion on this kid. Thanks for watching.